Surprisingly, Congress people are finally starting to speak up about what's happening in Gaza, and there is reporting that generals and military members are turning against Netanyahu. Let's take a look at all of this. First, right here, I have a statement from Senator Cory Booker. If you remember, just last week, I called Cory Booker out like, hey man, you need to explain a thing or two. Senator Cory Booker, this video is for you, friend. Israel is literally committing active genocide in Gaza. That's not up for debate. Israel tried to drag America into its war with Iran. Israel has consistently made Americans and American troops less safe. Here's your chance, Senator Booker, to prove them all wrong. Come talk to me. Explain this picture. And while I haven't heard back from Cory, he did make a statement. So let's take a look at his statement and some statements of some other Congress people, and take a look at the report that military members and generals are turning against Netanyahu. Let's read this statement. Witnessing the catastrophic hunger and suffering of civilians, especially children, women, the sick and elderly in Gaza, has been heartbreaking. The crisis in Gaza must be met with an immediate and drastic surge in life-saving resources, such as desperately needed food, water, and medicine, including therapeutic foods for those suffering from severe malnutrition. It is our collective moral duty to ensure that humanitarian relief reaches those who need it most urgently. Let me say first, just to that part of the statement, 100%. We need food there now. Gaza, people in Gaza, Palestinians need food right now. He's 100% correct on that. Now, we shouldn't even be here. This entire atrocity never should have escalated to the point where it is. This genocide should have been addressed well before we were starving people. Well, Israel was starving people, and U.S. continued to send aid. It never should have made it this far. But he's right. Now that we're this far, we need immediate, not tomorrow, not next week, now. We need immediate food in Gaza. Matter of fact, there was a boat, the Handala, the Freedom Flotilla, that was taking food to Gaza on their own, that was stopped by the Israeli Defense Force, Israeli Occupation Force, in international waters, which, by the way, is a crime. You can't do that. You can't board a ship with weapons in international waters for no fucking reason. That's piracy. That's kidnapping. But they did it. But if a group of civilians, activists, can get on a boat and take food to Gaza and make it within 10 miles before they are illegally kidnapped, but we as a government can't get food in there, then we are fucking complicit in this bullshit. So in that regard, Cory Booker's right. But I'm going to tell you something. The next line pisses me off. The strategy of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has not worked. Proven methods to get humanitarian aid to those in need while preventing diversion to Hamas must be used. This is Israeli propaganda that's been proven to be untrue. This idea that, oh, we're sending aid in, but Hamas is stealing it. No, the fuck they're not. That's not happening. Netanyahu is intentionally stopping food from getting into Gaza, and then he's spreading this propaganda lie that, again, has been disproven, that the food is getting diverted by Hamas. If that's the case, then when all these air packages that are being airdropped, food is literally being airdropped into Gaza because it's literally that desperate of a need, and it's the least efficient way to get food in, by the way. You can get more food in on a truck than you can on airdrops, and the airdrops are incredibly dangerous. But if Hamas was just stealing all the food, then how are the airdrops successfully getting to people? Because Hamas isn't stealing food. But let's continue. We must do all we can to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza as part of the strategy to save lives, decrease Hamas's influence. He keeps mentioning Hamas. He has to do it. He has to do it to satisfy this little niche of not attacking Israel. Call fucking Netanyahu out on his bullshit, bro. Here's another statement I want to look at. It's from Representative Sarah Jacobs, who I find to be pretty progressive, and who I find that I agree with 99% of what I hear her talk about, what I hear her propose on the House floor. I like Sarah Jacobs. But I'm going to be honest, I was wondering, was she going to be silent on Gaza? Because I've heard her make some, pro-Israel statements. Well, I should say statements that I interpret to be pro-Israel, and I was like, is she pants riding, what's the deal here? But then she made this statement. I am sickened by what we're seeing in Gaza right now. The IDF has blocked aid while shooting people waiting in food lines for what little aid is actually coming from the sham Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Israel needs to lift its blockade, and the U.S. needs to stop sending bombs. Fuck yes. So I apologize. I thought that Representative Sarah Jacobs was riding the fence and hinting at being pro-Israel, but it turns out she's not. I mean, she's flat out saying the sham Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, thank you. And the U.S. needs to stop sending bombs. Thank you. The U.S. needs to lift, or Israel needs to lift its blockade. Thank you. And like she said, this needs to happen right now. People are starving right now. Every fucking hour, every fucking minute that we wait to send aid immediately, people die because they are that malnourished in Gaza. This is an absolute fucking disgusting travesty to be happening. In fact, it's so fucking bad. It's so fucking bad that there are reports that Israel's own military, generals and soldiers alike, are turning against them. Let's watch this report from Midas Touch.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing a potential mutiny from within his own military. According to this new Telegraph report titled, Israeli soldiers and generals are turning their back on Netanyahu over Gaza. A growing number of Israeli soldiers, reservists, and even top generals are turning their backs on Netanyahu over his atrocities in Gaza, calling it what it is, a political stunt to save his own skin. Take 26-year-old Captain Ron Feiner. He risked his life in battle, dragging wounded colleagues to safety, but now he is refusing to serve. Why? Because he says that Netanyahu has no endgame here. His government is just trying to prolong everything. He was sentenced to 25 days in jail for saying no, and he's not alone. More and more reservists are skipping call-ups, forgetting their emails, or claiming family emergencies.
So if the report is true from Midas Touch, this could be bad for Netanyahu. But let me say one thing. There's a lot of videos on the internet showing the Israeli occupational forces doing horrible fucking shit. There was just recently a video of a former U.S. Special Forces soldier who went over to Israel as, I guess, hired security and witnessed so many war crimes that he left and came back here and reported what he saw. So, I mean, I get that Netanyahu is spreading propaganda, but of all people, the military should know that it's all propaganda because they are the ones inside Gaza blatantly killing civilians and blatantly committing war crimes. However, I did see a video just a couple of days ago. I tried to find it for this video to show to you guys. I can't find it right now. But it showed Israeli, young Israeli men taking their recruitment letter, or I guess their letter that tells them they have to get drafted to the Israeli army, and burning it, and they're not participating. So I think there is a shift in tide in some of the Israeli population, that they realize that Netanyahu has been feeding them a bunch of bullshit propaganda, and that what's happening in Gaza is a gross, disgusting humanitarian crisis. And I hope that that is true. But let's not forget the videos online that show the Israeli army doing gross shit. Listen, at the end of the day, all of us need to realize that Netanyahu has been using propaganda as a way to try and keep people behind him in this absolute genocide. I'm glad that our Congress people are starting to speak up now. It never should have got this far. But at the end of the fucking day, let's just triage this shit. People need food right now, right now. There needs to be, we bragged about sending planes 37 hours across the globe to bomb Iran. Let's put a plane that starts here and doesn't stop until it's in Gaza, passing out humanitarian aid, not airdropping it. Let's put trucks. We have access to put trucks of food there. And let's demand that Israel stops the blockade, and let's aid in right now, because we have the power to do that. Do it now.